is a way. No, there is not.
I am a 34-year-old mom. Here is my story. When the doctor called me, telling me to come in immediately, I thought it was just a routine checkup. Instead, I was told words that shattered me. Your daughter is pregnant. I broke down in the hospital, crying uncontrollably. How could this be? She is only 15. Still a child. She hasn't even finished her basic education. And now she has to be a mother. I always thought I knew my daughter well, but I was wrong. I had no idea she had started having sex. She's only 15, still a child. She hasn't even finished her basic education. When I asked her about the father, she said he's 17. Nice, funny, and someone she loves. But when I asked if he would take responsibility, the answer was no. He knows she is pregnant, but he refuses to stand by her. And here I am, pregnant myself, about to welcome a new life into this world, while my own daughter is also carrying one. I feel torn apart, guilty, like I have failed her. Maybe I didn't communicate enough. Maybe I didn't teach her to protect herself. Now 2 pregnancies under one roof. I keep asking myself, what will happen to this family? What will happen to my daughter's future? But in the middle of my pain, I know one thing. She is still my daughter. She needs me more than ever. The world may judge her, but I will not abandon her. Together we will walk this hard road. Her dreams don't have to die here. With love, with guidance, with faith, we will fight for her future. And maybe one day, these tears will turn into strength, and this story will be about resilience, not failure. Because even in the darkest storm, a mother's love can still light the way. The days after the hospital felt like walking through fire. My daughter barely spoke. She would sit on the edge of her bed, holding her stomach, staring into nothing. Her school books pushed aside, forgotten. Each page reminded me of the future slipping through her fingers. I confronted her one evening, my voice shaking with anger and sorrow. Soni, do you understand what this means? Do you understand what's ahead of you? She broke down, crying uncontrollably, whispering through tears. Mama, I'm scared. Those words shattered me. She wasn't just pregnant. She was still a child, terrified of the world that was now demanding too much of her. And the boy, the one she said was nice, funny, the one she claimed to love, was gone. Vanished. He knew about the pregnancy, but he chose to walk away. My fists clenched with rage. How could a 17-year-old leave my daughter to face this storm alone? Nights became restless. I would lie awake, one hand on my own belly, the other wiping tears from my eyes. 2 babies. 2 fragile lives depending on me. And sometimes I asked myself, how can I be strong for both of them when I feel so broken inside? The shame was heavy too. The whispers from neighbors, the judgmental stares when we walked down the street. It was as if the whole world was pointing fingers at us. But I refused to bow to shame. Because shame cannot raise a child. Judgment cannot build a future. So I made a decision. I would fight. For my daughter. For my unborn child. For this family. I would not let this be the end of her dreams. She may have stumbled, but she would not fall alone. And I swear, when the time comes when both babies are born, we will rise from this pain stronger than ever. Because we are not broken. We are warriors. And love will be our weapon. The day my daughter went into labor, I felt my world spin. Her screams filled the hospital room. Shouts of pain from a child who had barely stepped into her teenage years. I held her hand tightly, whispering, "Breathe, my baby, breathe." My own stomach heavy with life. I prayed for strength to carry both of us through this storm. Hours later, her cries were replaced by the cry of a newborn, my grandson. As the nurse placed him in her trembling arms, I saw the fear in her eyes. She was only 15, but life had pushed her into motherhood too soon. The months that followed nearly broke me. I would wake up at night to feed my baby, only to hear my grandson crying seconds later. 2 babies, 2 lives, 2 mouths needing love at the same time. My body ached and my soul felt weary, But I refused to give up. I cooked, cleaned, worked, and wiped my daughter's tears, reminding her every day, "Your life is not over, Sonia. You still have a future. One day, you will rise above this." 2 years passed. Sonia returned to school, stronger, wiser, and more determined. I thought the worst was behind us, until the unthinkable happened. One afternoon there was a knock at the door. I opened it, and froze. Standing there was the boy who had abandoned her, now taller, bolder, with his parents by his side. His words cut like a knife. "We've come for our child. We want custody of our son." My blood boiled. The same boy who ran from responsibility now dared to demand what he had no hand in raising. His parents, dressed in fine clothes, spoke with arrogance. "It's in the child's best interest to be with his real family." I laughed bitterly, tears burning my eyes. "Real family," thundered. "Where were you when my daughter screamed in pain on that hospital bed? Where were you when I stayed up night after night, feeding 2 babies at once, with my own strength failing? Where were you when my daughter cried herself to sleep, abandoned and ashamed?" The room shook with my voice. "This child knows love. This child knows sacrifice. And you will not tear him away from the arms that kept him alive." The boy lowered his head, but his parents pressed on, threatening court battles, waving promises of wealth and opportunity. My heart pounded as I realized this was not just a fight for custody. This was a fight for my daughter's dignity, her motherhood, and the future I had sworn to protect. And in that moment I vowed, "I will not lose. They may have money, they may have power, but I have something stronger. I have the truth, have love, and I will fight with every breath in me for my grandson, for my daughter, for this family. Because this story is not about shame anymore. It is about survival. And I will not allow history to repeat itself." The day we stepped into the courtroom, my heart trembled. The boy's family came in with their expensive suits, their high-priced lawyers, and their air of arrogance. I sat quietly beside my daughter, holding her hand, my eyes burning with tears. I refused to let fall. I had no lawyer, no money, no defense. Only love and the truth. As the judge entered, I silently prayed, "God, don't let them take my grandson away." Days before the next court date, I had almost given up. But then something happened, something I can only call divine. At the supermarket, I saw a young woman struggling with heavy bags. Without thinking, I rushed to help her. When we reached her car, she smiled and said, "Thank you for helping me with my bags." "Jane." "Lawyer Jane." The moment I heard the word lawyer, I broke down, crying uncontrollably. Through sobs I whispered, "It was God who sent you to me today. I have no money, but I'm fighting for my grandson's custody. Please help me." She placed her hand gently on my shoulder and said, "Madam, don't cry. I will defend you. You owe me nothing." And so, in that courtroom, Lawyer Jane stood by my side. With courage and brilliance, she tore apart every lie. She reminded the judge how the boy abandoned my daughter when she was just 14, how we struggled night after night to raise this child, how love, not wealth, built his life. The boy's family tried to wave their riches before the court, but truth is stronger than gold. When the judge finally spoke, the words felt like thunder. Custody is awarded to the mother, Shania. The child will remain with his family, where he has known love, care, and sacrifice. The courtroom erupted. My daughter cried tears of relief, hugging me tightly. We had won. We had defeated wealth with truth. We had defeated arrogance with love. Years passed, and my daughter rose from the ashes of shame to the light of success. She returned to school, worked hard, and against all odds graduated. Today, she wears her uniform proudly as a registered nurse, strong, independent, and full of hope. My grandson grew up happy, loved, and surrounded by family. Our home, once heavy with sorrow, became filled with laughter again. And we never forgot Lawyer Jane. One day, my daughter and I went back to her office with gifts in our hands and gratitude in our hearts. Tears filled our eyes as we said, "If not for you, our story would have ended in tragedy. But because of you, it became a testimony." She smiled and simply said, "It wasn't me. It was destiny. It was love. And it was your strength." And so our story ended not in shame but in victory. Because when a mother fights with love, when a daughter rises with courage, and when truth stands taller than wealth, no battle can defeat them. We lived, we survived, we triumphed. And above all, we lived happily. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share for more interesting, emotional, and powerful stories.